Hey guys, I was going back through my video and did a video on my garden, and was watching that, and I thought I'm gonna do an update on it, show you guys how it's come along. It's really just like taking off, so let's go check it out. Well, here's the garden now. Beans come up. Like I said, I had to replant them because I had some old seeds and they never germinated. And I got some right here that they're just slow starters, and then I patched in some extra seeds to fill in the blanks. My tomatoes. Tomatoes are rocking here. I've got little tomatoes here and there, and I use some old hog fencing for cages, and man, they're doing good. Come over here to my peppers. Peppers are doing good. I need some water. It's cool this morning, so I'm gonna fertilize tonight. So I'm gonna put some fertilizer down and then water this evening. These are the habaneros, and these are assortment of bell peppers. Down at the end here, I have, these are the jalapeno. These right here are habaneros. That's what them are. And them are my banana or Hungarian. I can't remember which ones I picked up. And over to my pickling cucumbers. They're all flowering, and I have a few little ones here. They're probably about the size of your thumb. But once these guys take off, I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of vegetables. I'm gonna can pickles, and I'm gonna can tomatoes and make salsa. Of course, I'll probably freeze peppers. But the summer squash, the zucchini, and well, you can see right here, I'm getting zucchinis all over the place here. It's not gonna be long. This guy got knocked over, but he'll stand back up. They got yellows and all that goodness. These big boys right here. This thing is waist high. Then over here, I think this is some like spaghetti squash. And then it's like growing all through my, can't remember what the hell this is. Not acorn squash. I don't know. My buddy got me a couple of these plants here, and I told him I throw them in here. And then in my pumpkins really took off. Go back through the last video, it was just a tiny thing starting to flower. Well, I did plant 3 rows of potatoes. I got some seed potatoes down at the local farm market, and you see Roxy walk through this crap. But they said it wasn't too late. I'm not gonna have a bunch of big potatoes, but these things will grow until they die, and I can harvest them this fall. Maybe get a bushel of potatoes. Yeah, Roxy tearing my crap up. But yeah, guys, there's my garden. It's doing awesome. Biggest thing that I found is this hoe. I think they call it a scuffer hoe or whatever. But you just go in there like this and go through your rows, and it pulls up a lot of the stuff and gets all the weeds out. And I haven't tilled this garden. Well, I tilled this to put in the potatoes, but as far as all this other stuff, this is just gonna take over, so I'm not worried about it. But like in between the rows here, I haven't tilled any of this. I just went down through that scuffer hoe like every other day or that, and it brings the stuff up on top and let it dry, and you're good to go. So I fertilized my beans last night. I used it's a fish emulsion, and I'm gonna put granule stuff down tonight. Let's go check out my other peppers. Man, it's windy today. Okay, so my dill's doing good, and cilantro's flowering out, and I never grew cilantro before. If anybody could tell me, are you supposed to let it flower out, or I don't know. But then here are these two bad boys right here. These are them ghost chili peppers, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'm starting to get the little blooms that are gonna come in the peppers, so got them on both of them. Never grew these before either, but I figured I'd put them over here. Well, here was that cage. I put a cage in a bunch of autumn olive seeds in there, and a critter got into it and just tore it all up, and that's just weeds growing in there. I don't see any starts from autumn olive, so I'll try it again next year. You can go over to the woods edge over here. I'll show you something. I used to have small gardens, nothing as big as I had here, and really didn't know how the ground was gonna do. It was real rocky when it got tilled up. I had a farmer come down with a plow and turn the sod over, and then, you know, using a rototiller and digging out the weeds and everything, it's doing pretty good. But the ground seems to be good. Soil seems to be good. Everything's growing. Cross my fingers. But I'll show you something here real quick. I don't know if you can see that. This Kyle brought me last year. He brought me a salt rock, and it lasted all summer into the winter, and spring it finally, you know, soaked into the ground. But them deer are hitting it, and we got deer that come out this corner of the yard here. There's a trail that goes through there, and then they walk along the woods there, go out to the corn. But they haven't messed with my garden. I did see a deer track in it when I first planted my stuff, but it's like they jumped in and walked through and didn't find anything tasty. So like I said, I didn't plant any corn because I know they'll get into that. I do have, when I get up in the morning, we have a lot of rabbits here. I'll see 4 or 5 rabbits, and they'll be circling the garden like sharks, trying to get in that fence, but they haven't got in there yet. I'm sure if I had a cabbage or broccoli and stuff like that, they would find a way in to get it, but they haven't bothered anything here. So right here's what I wanted to show you guys. Let's turn the camera around. So the raspberries are coming on, and it's all raspberries down, halfway down through there, and then down over to here. So that's nice. Well, thank you guys for joining me on my garden update. Plan on canning a lot of the stuff. Yeah, beans and tomato, kind of like your staple foods. I'll can whole tomatoes, or stewed tomatoes for chilies and soups and stews and stuff during the winter time. And then the green beans. And every year they have the farm market gets these great big bags of they got to be like 40-pound bags of carrots. Great big carrots. I mean, some of them are like that big, and they're deer carrots, but they're good eating. And I cut them up and I can them. Get a great big bag for like $14 or something. And I can that stuff, and surprisingly the carrots turn out good. But this year was going to be experiment. I might not plant as many pickling cucumbers this year because it looks like I'm just going to be overloaded with them. And I'll probably do about the same zucchini. Depending on how many beans I got, I might put in more beans next year, but I think the tomatoes are going to be good because I'm going to make salsa and some other stuff with it. So, but like I said, all the leftovers, or not leftovers, but all the stuff that I'm not using, because once it comes in, it's going to come. I got families and friends and neighbors and everything. I'll give them vegetables and stuff like that. So my neighbor across the street, he's already got grown zucchini. He put in a couple weeks before me though, so my zucchini is gonna be rocking here in the next week. So alright guys, thanks for watching. You guys take care.